So lighting is tricky this late at night. Well, late. It is, what, 8:45 Monday evening? It is the 29th of November. I cannot be bothered to stand up right now. I'm tired. But yeah, hi, how are you? My first nano and I won. That is, well, definitely what I was hoping for. Oh, there I went. Hoping to obviously to win and trying my best, but to actually manage to win, I'm like so happy. Clearly, she says, I'm tired. So what do I think about this nano experience? Well, first off, I feel pretty good about it. It's hard not to feel good when you win, when you manage to, when you reach the goals that you put yourself. But so this summer I decided that I was going to take the plunge and participate in nano for the first time. I have not didn't do so in earlier years because I was intimidated by it, and I mean rightfully. Nano is all about sitting your butt down for a month and write 50,000 words. That's a lot. That's a huge commitment, and I'm really happy that I did. My brain is a little bit fried though. Mind you, it was really weird coming home after work today and remembering that I didn't have to sit my butt down to write because I reached the goal that I put myself. But the experience itself, for the most part, has been good. I really surprised myself. Like, I expected to struggle more. My least productive day was something like 900 and some words. Like, so yeah, my least productive day was 978 words. My least. My most productive was 328. So I don't really have anything to complain about. I genuinely surprised myself. Like, I was trying in October to write a little bit every day, and I was managing like maybe 100 words, maybe 200. I'm feeling pretty good about it, which I rightfully, I had every right to because I haven't been in the habit of writing every day. So I was generally a little bit scared that in November I wouldn't reach any of my goals because, again, I don't have the experience of writing this much. And then I surprised myself and actually did it with 2 days to spare. That's like, I am pretty proud of myself. And I've been thinking about, this experience because I am fully aware that, and was at the beginning of this experience, that most of us, particularly participating for the first time, don't succeed. This is a huge undertaking. Writing 50,000 words is huge. Trying, 25,000! When I reached my first 1,000, I was proud of myself. Managing that first day, I was so proud of myself. When I reached 10,000 words, I cannot describe to you how bursting with pride in myself I was. I'm like, this is the most that I have ever written in any single project of mine. So I feel really justified in being proud of myself because I have every right to. Most of us who participate in Nano don't succeed. It's a huge undertaking. There are so many things that can happen. Things can happen at work. There can be, life issues. Something may come up. There can be a sudden travel or something. Something can always come up. I was lucky in that whatever came up happened to not impede me. Like that day, just on the 25th, my part of town, both at work and at home, we were out of electricity for only like 3 hours or so. It could have been a more serious and I could have lost the day, but still, it didn't impede me. And I am very fortunate in that because, things always happen. Things can always happen. And you know, some people, a lot of people actually who participate in Nano, at least according to YouTube comments, because I've been stalking other YouTubers, a lot of people also undertaking university, and university is a huge thing. So the people who are doing their studies, I mean, not even just, obviously not just university, it's also like basically any school at all. School is hard work. It's a lot of work. And the fact that people are doing all that work and deciding, you know what, I'm gonna participate in Nano. Those guys, you guys are champions. Like that's a lot. That's so a lot. Before November started, I did do some prep. Like most of the people I checked in. I did do some research before starting, so that's probably a good thing. That's one thing I learned through life. Do some research before you do things. And Nano is definitely one of those things. Both other YouTubers who I, you know, look to for like advice and guidance and writing, because I'm a noob. I'm an absolute noob in this thing. Having so much fun, thank you. And podcasts that I've been listening to. And those people who have decades of experience with Nano all say pretty much the same thing: preparation. Prepare. Take the time in October, even September, to prepare before November starts. And I did take time in October to prepare, to do little writing exercises, to read a bit. I should read more. That needs to come later. In the rewrites, I need to read a lot more before I can do the writing justice. And yeah, go through the preparation of what the story is gonna be, about the world, about the characters, your plot line. You know, obviously the rules now is that you cannot start writing until November the 1st. So, but you can do preparation, and that's what I did. And at least for my brain, that definitely works. Now, one bit of advice that I did see pop up from time to time, funny enough, not from people I was actually following on YouTube and on the podcast. They all said a different thing, but one thing that kept popping up, at least online, like when you just search engine, when you simply search for advice on Nano, a lot of people seem to, what I'm trying to pick my words here very, very carefully. The one advice that kept popping up is that you need to dedicate yourself completely to your novel writing, which, you know, fair. My brain doesn't work like that. My brain needs a certain amount of distraction in order for me to just operate. And that's just something that I learned about my brain, is that I cannot focus on just one thing. That is impossible for me. So when people are saying, oh yeah, you need to reschedule everything, fair enough, like maybe not take a big travel in November, like fair enough. But the one thing that I decided to keep in is a weekly knit nights. So, you know, I have another channel here on YouTube where I talk about knitting and crocheting and everything unrelated. And one of the things that helps me focus and keep me sane is knitting and crocheting. And the best thing in my life right now, and has been, well, apart from the last year because of a certain pandemic, it has been knit nights, where at the local coffee shop where I live, that sounds so, I'm a writer, I know words, but yeah, at my local coffee shop we have knit nights every week. once a week, and I made the decision to keep going. First up, because we finally got the knit nights back, just in October, and I was not prepared to give them up again because I'd been without my knit nights for about a year. Not prepared for that. Knit nights are my sanity pill. I decided not to give that up because I knew that I needed that for my brain for me to stay sane. And even though I was dedicating 2 hours a week, 2 hours a week isn't a lot, honestly. But just doing something else completely in a different environment, it did not impede me. I think that actually helped. That actually is one point. Maybe don't take in, like, do look up advice on the internet, but with a grain of salt. If it doesn't really suit your life, or you know that certain something is something that is going to help you, like taking 2 hours a week to go meet a bunch of people and knit, do that. Keep it up. I mean, for me, it suits to keep to a schedule. I did notice, well, like the webpage says, I've been writing mostly between 8 and 9 p.m. which, yes, that seems to be my preferred hour of writing, when I'm the most productive. I don't really write in the mornings. I'm doing something else. On the weekdays, I'm working, so the writing is gonna happen on those hours. Another thing that I did notice is whenever I started to struggle with writing, and this kind of surprised me, I had decided to buy myself a treat to so I bought myself a bit of a treat to, reward myself when I sat down to write. I bought a salmon candle from Woodcraft that smells like, logs on a fire. And whenever I start to struggle with writing, with like just sit down and write, lighting this candle actually helped me to focus. So I think I accidentally conditioned myself to write when I smell this. Also, the fact the duration of this candle, like for some reason, I didn't expect this candle to last this long. This has lasted me all of November. I've been burning this for hours every night, on the weekends. The last of it finished just last night. About the time when I finished my first zero draft. My zero draft. When I finished my blah, I can word. So yeah, I did accidentally condition myself with a sun candle. It worked. And yeah, I guess that's it. I really should have prepared this better. I should have prepared. But yeah, I honestly just want to get on here and just have a bit of a. I think I'm just realizing that November is over for me. Nano is over for me. I won. I didn't. That is more than I dare to hope for and expect. But now, as for the manuscript itself, it is an absolute. It is such a zero draft. It's like. Whew, like, it's not a pile of dung. It's not. It's not complete trash. It has value. But I did learn what it is that I need to do more for the manuscript. I need to figure out the world more. I need to figure out the characters more, particularly characters that I didn't really think about, that are actually kind of important for the story to progress. I need to get into those people's heads. And just the storyline itself, it needs to be more of a story. More plot. There are scenes that I'm missing, scenes that I didn't really feel comfortable writing because I am, again, a novice, and this is a full-blown story. I went in the deep end with this. There are side plots, side stories, because that's what makes a story, particularly a novel or full length, that's what makes it more interesting. It is the main brands and then the little side pieces. You know how force works. And things like that. Like, I did at least realize how much I needed to know. But the good thing about November, and probably the best thing, is you are developing a habit of writing every day. Even a little bit. Just sit down and write. And November has been fantastic for that. Nano has absolutely helped me with realizing that I can actually write. Excuse you. I can write. Now I know that. Because I've proven that to myself. The computer distracted me and now I can't remember what the other point was. So yeah, I cannot remember what the other point was. Dang it. But I do remember, like, it's forming the habit of writing every day. And it's knowing that you can actually write. So yeah, at least I know some of my strengths. My strength does lie quite a bit in dialogue. That's another thing that I did notice. Some days I was really good at writing dialogues, and other days I could only write description. Listen, so some people seem to be able to just start at point one and just work their way through. I don't. I can't work like that. My brain jumps from this point to 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 that point to boom. I mean, my brain is not point A, point B, point C type of thing. It jumps all over the alphabet. I prefer to simply work with my brain. Like, I'm old enough to realize that struggling against how my brain works is detrimental to us both. So yeah, I'm still writing though, like not in this manuscript. I am probably going to work on other ideas, like maybe shorter stories that I can actually finish in a, you know, in less than 50,000 words. As for this manuscript, I am going to follow further advice from people who know better than I. I'm going to let it rest until February. I need to get my new journal and write that one down. Let it rest, try my best not to think too much about it, and then come to it with fresh eyes, and then see about starting on a proper first draft, because I like this story. It has potential, I just need to work it better. So yeah, that's probably also the absolute best thing about Nano, is that it gets you to sit down and write that zero draft, to get your ideas down on the paper so you can actually work with it. It's not a finished manuscript. It is not something that, it's not even something that I would show my best friend. She's asked about it, but I'm like, no. For the same reason I don't pick up my dust, my wastebasket and show her. I'm not calling it trash, but there's just some things that you keep to yourself, and I think that the zero draft or the dump draft, or there are other words that people have used, but this exploration draft, that's not something that I feel comfortable sharing with anyone. So yeah, that is the plan with this manuscript, is to let it rest for about 2 months and then come back to it and work on it a little bit slower. And personally says, after first nano, and I'm an expert. But it feels, so far, it feels like Nano is really good for doing a first draft or first exploration into a story. I've seen people work on previous manuscripts, like reworking their things, and it seems to be going up and down. Like, seems to be a bit of a hit and miss. Like, but then again, life happens a lot. A lot. Life happens. For some reason, you're alive and life happens. Who knew? But yeah, is it weird that I'm already planning next year? I had fun. November isn't even technically over. It's the 29th today. But yeah, I had fun in Nano, and so far I have a real intention to participate again next year. We'll see what life brings. But yeah, this has been my rambling thoughts about my experience with Nano. In conclusion, I had fun. Nano is fantastic for, I believe, first draft, because you set it down and you write. Because you have the goal line of 50,000 words. You are forming a habit, and you're having fun. I think that's the most important thing. Have fun. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I'm gonna call it quits tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. Maybe do some knitting or reading. Getting the light back. So yes, thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Okay, bless.